Nandana Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gita Amritam Maha. So amongst all these scriptures, the essence of all these scriptures, Sarvo Upnishado Gau is compared to the cow. And this cow is being milked by none other than Krishna. He is Dugdha Gopala Nandana. Krishna is a cowherd for very famous. His father Nanda Maharaj has 900,000 cows. So he's very expert in milking the cows and getting the essence, that is the milk. So in the same way, amongst all these scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all these scriptures. And Krishna is extracting the essence of all these scriptures and presenting it in Bhagavad Gita. And this milk, Krishna is offering to whom? Partha Vatsaha. Vatsa means the calf. So Arjuna becomes the calf who drinks this milk, this nectarian milk, which is extracted by Krishna. And what is this milk compared to? This is Dugdam Gita Mitam Mahat. So not only Arjuna has the opportunity, whoever studies Bhagavad Gita or hears Bhagavad Gita, he has the opportunity to drink this nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So we will taste this nectarian milk. See, milk, if one sees, he can only know what is the color of it. If he smells, he can only know the odor of it. But to get the full benefit of the milk, what one has to do? One has to drink it. Without drinking, one cannot get the full benefit of the milk. And we have the opportunity to drink this milk through His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So we will begin by our prayers and then we will proceed this very important chapter, the 7th chapter, which begins the Bhakti Yoga section. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. So we covered the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and in first 6 chapters we saw Krishna was emphasizing on the aspect of performing one's prescribed duties, karma. Krishna spoke about karma, and Krishna also spoke about jnana. And Krishna also spoke about dhyana as the Ashtanga Yoga. But overall, Krishna recommended Arjuna, and through Arjuna is recommending all of us that we should focus on performing our prescribed duty. The process of perfection is to perform duty. And how one comes to the platform of duty, elevated than the platform of desire, by becoming detached. When one becomes detached from one's action, then one is at the platform of duty. And when one adds devotion to detachment, it becomes bhakti. The karma in which there is detachment, but if you add devotion, it becomes bhakti. So these middle 6 chapters are very, very important chapters, because from here, Krishna will talk about devotion, the Bhakti Yoga chapters. So Bhagavad Gita, as you all know, is divided into 3 sections. The first 6 chapters predominantly speaking about karma. The middle 6 chapters are speaking about bhakti. And the final 6 chapters are speaking about jnana. But bhakti is the central part, because bhakti is that element which gives shakti, or it gives substance to both karma and jnana. So devoid of bhakti, both karma and jnana are insufficient or useless in achieving perfection. So Prabhupada says that these are like 2 coverings, and bhakti is in the center and it is well protected. It also infuses life to both. Both are lifeless. So bhakti infuses life to both karma and jnana. So it is in the central part. And these 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, how one can know about bhakti is through the process of hearing, not by erudite scholarship or by one's own ability, but in hearing in association with devotees. Why Krishna placed bhakti in the middle? Because bhakti is confidential. Bhakti gives life to karma and jnana. Bhakti is nirpeksh. Both karma and jnana are sapeksh. Sapeksh means they are dependent. They are not independent. So what gives them ability and life is bhakti. But bhakti is sudurlabha. It is very, very rare. It is not easily achievable. So this is the overview of the 7th chapter, relatively smaller chapter. It has 30 verses. And very interestingly, in the first 3 verses, Krishna speaks about knowledge of himself. He reveals his own position. And Krishna also discloses how we can know about him. How we can know about the Supreme Personality is through the process of bona fide hearing, Shravana. And then Krishna speaks of how he is the originator, maintainer, and controller of the entire creation through his energies. He is the origin and the source of both the energies, the material energy and the spiritual energy. So this chapter talks predominantly about Krishna's energy, both material and spiritual, that we will discuss between 4th to 12th verses. And then Krishna speaks about the 3 modes, that everyone in this world is within the modes. So depending on the mode, there are 2 types of people. There are those who are called Sukritinas, or those who are meritorious, and the other are the Dushkritinas, those who are miscreants. So the miscreants who do not surrender to Krishna, and the meritorious or the Sukritinas who do surrender to Krishna, and they are also of 4 types each. That we will discuss between 15 to 19 verse. And then Krishna speaks about others. There are other categories apart from the miscreants and the meritorious. These are the demigod worshippers, the impersonalists, who surrender, but their surrender is misplaced. That is the 5th section. And the final section, the bewilderment of the living entity and knowledge of Krishna. So this is the overview of this chapter. It is divided into 6 sections. So we see the connection of the 7th chapter with the 6th chapter. In the 6th chapter, Krishna concluded the Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga, where Arjuna dismissed this process of controlling his mind and focusing his attention. Krishna asked Arjuna, and Arjuna said that Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balvatranam. And so Arjuna rejects the process of the Dhyana Yoga, which is not practical for this age. When it was not practical 5,000 years before, so what to speak about it now? So Krishna says that it is possible. What one has to do? One has to have practice and detachment. So what is that practice and detachment? Krishna speaks in the concluding verse of the 6th chapter, where he says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yoma samayukta tamomata. So one who with great faith abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental service unto me. He is the best of the yogis, and he is always intimately united with me. That is Krishna's opinion. So Krishna gives his conclusion. So that the opinion of Krishna is the final conclusion, and that opinion is the opinion which matters. All other opinions may be only a matter of speculation. So how to come to the stage of one who always thinks of Krishna, and one who has great faith, and who always abides in Krishna, and is always fixed in rendering transcendental service to Krishna. So Arjuna did not ask any question. So Krishna begins this chapter without Arjuna asking the question. So in a way, Krishna's heart is outpouring. So Krishna wants to tell Arjuna, and through Arjuna he is teaching all of us, that how we can come to a situation or a position where we have good faith in Krishna, we always think of Krishna, and we have a desire to render devotional service to Krishna. And that process he reveals in this 7th chapter. So Prabhupada says that this is made possible. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and the foremost, most important. Therefore, we see this chapter will begin we'll begin this chapter. The 6th verse, the 6th chapter was concluded by Krishna, and the 7th chapter also Krishna begins without Arjuna raising any query or question. This is the first verse, very beautiful verse. Prabhupada has given maximum lecture on this verse. Amongst all the verses of Bhagavad Gita, in the archives, there are 29 lectures recorded of Srila Prabhupada on this verse only, which is by far the most on any verse in Bhagavad Gita. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjam Madashraya Asansayam Samagrama Yathagya Shashi Tashunu. See what Krishna spoke in the last verse. So Krishna is saying that, my dear Arjuna, now hear from me. So one may ask, so far who was hearing? Who was the audience of Krishna? Was there someone else, the audience? The audience was the same, Arjuna. But now Krishna is asking Arjuna to hear from him. How? By attaching his mind. Maya sakta manapa. That, and previously Arjuna has rejected that the concentration of the mind is impossible. But how that concentration can come? By practicing the process of hearing. So our attention is to be there in the process of hearing. And from whom we have to hear? We have to hear from Krishna and his bona fide representative. So we will see there's a very beautiful word. So Krishna says, you hear with attention. You hear with your mind's attachment towards me. So what will be the result of hearing with attention? So Krishna speaks of the 5 results of hearing directly from him. First is yogam yunjam, that you will become established in yoga. You will have connection with me. You will have direct communion. How? Just by the process of hearing. Like you are all hearing. So just by hearing, we are directly connecting with Krishna. Second, mat ashraya. So the purpose of devotional practice is to ultimately take shelter of Krishna. But it seems very difficult. We must have Sharanagati. So the process of Sharanagati begins by the process of hearing. How? That one connects one's consciousness with Krishna through the process of hearing, and one takes shelter of the Supreme Lord through the process of hearing. So one's consciousness takes shelter of him. That is Matashya. And of course, when one is connected and one is taking shelter through the process of hearing, then naturally the mind becomes attached to him. Maya Saktama. And very importantly, all our doubts which are there in our heart, which has been troubling us for lifetimes. Asanshayam samagrama. All the doubts in the heart, they are completely dispelled or vanished. Then, what is the final outcome? Yatha gyasyasi. One can know me in full. Is it possible for anyone to know Krishna in full? Krishna is unlimited. And the Jiva is limited. But to the extent Krishna desires us to know him, we can know him in full. So this is the very powerful verse where Krishna is giving the effect of hearing from Krishna, that one can know Krishna in full. That means one can revive one's relationship with Krishna by the process of hearing. Krishna is known as Shrutikshita. We cannot see Krishna because he is Adhokshaja. He is beyond the sense perception of our vision. But we can know him. We can see him through the process of bona fide hearing. If we do not see God, it is because we don't hear. And we do not hear him because our desire is pure. To make our heart pure and for us to fructify spiritual desire, the most potent process is the process of hearing. What was Arjuna doing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? He was doing only one activity. That was, he was hearing from Krishna. And just by hearing, all his misconceptions were completely vanquished. So there are many, many pastimes of Srila Prabhupada of the hearing. And what is the result of hearing? This is the second verse, beautiful verse. Krishna says, through the process of hearing, what I am imparting to you is jnanam. I am giving you the complete knowledge. Not only I am bestowing you the knowledge, I am also giving you the process of savijnano. Jnanam teham savijnano. Jnana means knowledge and vijnana means realization or transformation. So by the process of hearing, not only one will have the knowledge or the information, but one will also get sufficient realization when he applies the knowledge which Krishna is bestowing. And also Krishna says that yad gyatva, after being situated in this knowledge, bhuyo anyat, there is nothing else to know. Because Gyatavyam avashishyate. There will be nothing in this world else to be known. So, another aspect of Jnanam and Vijnanam, our Acharya says, Jnanam refers to Krishna's energies, his material and spiritual energies. It talks about his position, his powerful position, his greatness. We all know God is great. But where are the details? How God is great? Those details are there in this chapter. It talks about Krishna's Aishwarya, his material and spiritual energies. And it also speaks about Vigyan. It talks about Krishna's intimacy of relationship with his devotees. That is Madhurya, his sweetness. So, through the process of hearing, one can know Krishna how? In full. How? By Aishwarya Gyan and Madhurya Gyan. So, Krishna is revealing both in this chapter, as we will see. And Krishna is also assuring us that there is nothing else to be known in this world. Yad gyatva na bhuyo anyat. So Krishna is giving the essence of all knowledge. There is nothing else to be known besides what Krishna is revealing in this section of Bhagavad Gita. But this knowledge is not so cheap, and it is not achieved or accessed by anyone and everyone. In the third verse, Krishna cautions us by saying that Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatama siddhanam kaschid mam veti tatvata. So amongst the human species is how many? Only 400,000 of 8,400,000. So it is a fraction. And amongst all the human species, there are very few who are endeavoring for perfection. And amongst those who are endeavoring for perfection, there will be only one who will achieve perfection. And amongst those who have achieved perfection, there will be hardly a rare soul who can know Krishna in full. Kaschin mam veti tatvata. One can know Krishna in full. So then one may ask, if the process seems to be so difficult or it seems to be out of reach, then what is the need of this process? That Krishna is saying that amongst all of the millions, only one will know me and realize me truly in the form of my personal form. What is the purpose of endeavoring for this process? So our Acharya speaks that if this principle is rarely understood, what is the use of it? So it can be applied and it could be understood. Krishna can be known through the process of parampara. That he has already explained. In the 4th chapter, Krishna explains that evam parampara praptam imam rajarishi vido. Sa kalena mahata yogo nashta parantapa. So through the process of being in bona fide disciplic succession, one can know Krishna in full. So Krishna reveals himself in this section of Bhagavad Gita. So we will see here that Krishna first speaks about his material energy. So this is the first 3 verses. Krishna reveals the knowledge of himself, and how to access this knowledge is through the process of bona fide hearing. Hearing in association with devotees directly from Krishna. One connects with Krishna, one takes shelter of Krishna, one's mind is fixed on Krishna, and all his doubts are dispelled. And by the process of hearing, he receives both the Aishwarya Gyan, the greatness of Krishna, he comes to know in full the greatness of Krishna, and he also realizes the sweetness of Krishna, the intimacy and exchanges that Krishna has with his devotees. So in the 4th verse, Krishna speaks about his material energies. He talks about his energies in the form of matter. He talks about his 8 energies. Bhumirapo nalo vayu हम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार में भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा. So five gross, we all know what are the five gross: earth, water, fire, ether. These are all the five gross, and three subtle: man, buddhi, and ahankar. MBA, simple to remember. Mana, buddhi, ahankar. MBA. MBA in what? In subtle, in subtle energies. So all of it is Krishna's material energies. But Krishna not only is the origin, source, and the controller of the material energy, he is also the source, origin, and controller of the spiritual energy, which he reveals in the 5th verse. That beside this, O mighty heart Arjuna, there is another superior energy of me, which comprises of the living entity. So in this world, we see that everyone is a combination of both the energies that Krishna speaks in the 6th chapter. So we see in the 4th verse, he is giving the material energies, and in the 5th, he is talking about the spiritual energy. He is talking about the jiva. He is talking about the soul. Jiva bhutam mahabaho, ye idam dharate jagat. So jiva, the living entity, is all of us. We are his spiritual energies. And in this material world, everything is a combination of these two energies or these two natures. In the 6th verse, he says, all created beings have their source in these two natures. What are these two natures? Material and spiritual. So this entire creation is the combination of both. How to see that? We see our own existence. Our existence has material bodies, which is comprising of the material energy, that is the body. And this body runs by the soul, which is the spiritual energy. So this is a combination of both. So this material world is a combination of both. And how Krishna is controlling everyone and everything, his energies, Krishna gives a very beautiful example. That is this 7th verse. Where Krishna says that Matta Partaram na anya kinchidasti dhananjaya, that there is nothing which is superior to him. And how he pervades the entire creation, or how he is the resting place of everyone and every energy, he gives the example of Sutre Mani Gvinaniva. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Let me see if... Okay. So Krishna is both the cause and the effect in the creation. That we will see. He is both the Shakti and the Shaktiman. That we will see in the following verses. And everything rests on him, as we see any garland, or we see any necklace. So how the necklace or the garland is having its shape or having its form? Because it is connected through the thread or through the string. And when we see the garland, we'd never see the string. But if you just cut the string, what will happen? All the flowers will fall apart, and the beautiful garland will become of no use. So how Krishna pervades, how he is the cause and effect of the entire creation. So Krishna will give 15 examples. Krishna gives 15 examples in this section from verses 8 till 12. Very beautiful. Krishna says, Rasovam apsu kaunteya prabhasmi sasishuryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabdekhe parusham nishu. Krishna says that how is the cause and the effect? He says, what is the effect? He says, I am the taste of water. What is the effect of water? That it quenches our thirst. And when our thirst is quenched, when there is some taste in water. Why we cannot drink the sea water? Because it is salty. It does not have a proper palate or a taste. So we cannot drink that water. So Krishna is the taste of water. Similarly, he is Prabha Ashmi. He is the light in the sun and the moon. What is the utility of the sun and the moon if there is no illumination? So Krishna is that illumination. And in the way, he says, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. In amongst all the Vedic mantras, he is the syllable Om. And Prabhupada explains that Om is what? Om is the impersonal form or the impersonal vibration of the Hare Krishna mantra. And also he says that Shabde Khe Paurusham Nishu. So in this way we see that every energy, which is the Shakti, it is controlled by the Shakti Ma. So Krishna is manifesting through his energy, but the control, the effect is within. So Prabhupada says here, there is nothing superior to me because I am both the cause and the effect, as I am the Shakti and the Shaktiman. So he enters into the entire creation and pervades it. One example is he enters into our own existence. He enters into our heart and remains as Paramatma. He is inside us, he is outside. He enters into the universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And from there, the living entities come. And the creation of the universe, he is there as Karnodaksha Vishnu. So he pervades the entire strata of existence, everywhere and everyone. Further, he says, Punyo Gandha Prithivyam Cha Tejashashmi Vibhavasho Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu Tapaschashmi Tapashvishu. This is another very, very beautiful meditation that we see. Krishna says, Punyo Gandha Prithivyam. I am the original fragrance of the earth. We get so many flowers from the earth. How? Just by implanting a seed. In the same place, in the same tract of land, you implant a rose seed and you will get the fragrance of rose, which is different from others. Just beside the rose, you implant a mogra seed and you will get the fragrance of mogra. And if you smell the seed, you try to open the seed, you try to bisect the seed and try to smell. Do you get any smell from the seed? So where is the seed? Where is the smell coming from the flower? It is Punyo Gandha Prithivyamsa. It is coming from earth. And Krishna is that original fragrance. So what I am trying to say, in the same tract of land, you put a rose seed, you put a mogra seed, you put a lotus. Lotus is where not in the seed, it is in the pond. Everyone will smell differently. So where is that differentiation of smell coming from? It is coming from where? It is coming from Krishna. This is what he's saying. Punyo Gandha Prithivyamsa. So in this way, and Krishna says, Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu. He is the life of all that live, as the super soul. As the super soul, he is in the heart of everyone. So in this way, Krishna gives 15 examples. And in the next 10th verse, he says, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanatana. That I am the original seed of all existence. And when we will come to the 14th chapter, Krishna says that Sarva Yoneshu Kaunteya Murteya Sambhavantiye Tasham Aham Mahadyogi. Aham Bija Pratapata. So Krishna is that seed-giving father for all existence. And also he says that I am Dharma Aviruddho Bhuteshu Kamo Ashmi Bharadrishubha. So that progeny, the continuation of the human race, that progeny which is not contrary to religious principles. Krishna says, I am that. Kamo asmin Bharatashibha. So we see everyone and every activity that we perform, everything is covered and controlled by Krishna. He is the origin, he is the essence, and he is also the effect. How? Through his various energies. And this energy pervades the entire creation. And how these energies act differently, Krishna says in the 12th and the 13th verse, he says it is the three modes. Know that all state of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. So Prabhupada gives the example of a superintendent of jail. So all the inmates, all the prisoners are within the jurisdiction of the prison. But the superintendent is not within the prison. So he is also there. And what these energies do, these three modes do, it dilutes. Diluted by the three modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know who is above the mode and inexhaustible. Why? Because the illusionary energy is very, very powerful. Very beautiful verse. The 14th verse, he says, Devi hi esha gunmayi mammaya durattaya mame vaye prapadyante maya etam tarantite. That Krishna says this divine energy of mine, which divine energy, which is comprising of the three modes, which is deluding everything, is very difficult to overcome. Why it is difficult to overcome? Because this is the energy of the energetic. One has to be more powerful than the energetic to be overcome his energy. And there is none. But the process is, but those who surrender unto me can easily cross me. So we see the next section of Bhagavad Gita, where there are two types of people or two classes of humans. Those who surrender unto Krishna, they are all called Sukritinas. And there are others, the demoniac people who do not surrender to Krishna. They are called the miscreants. So Krishna first speaks about the miscreants. That there are four types of miscreants who never surrender to Krishna. Who are these miscreants? Namam dushkite no mudha prapadyante naradhama. So first is the grossly foolish. And what is the grossly foolish person? It is like he is compared to, although he is in this human form of life, he has a human form, but his consciousness and intelligence is not human. He is like an animal. He is mudha, like an ass. Because the ass thinks that unless and until he works very hard, he will not get grass from his master, the washerman. So these grossly foolish people, they are day and night working very hard. Why? To earn their bread. And when we invite them to hear about Krishna, they say we have no time. You see today, only 4 or 5 of you are hearing. All others are busy. They have no time to hear Krishna. So this world is filled with such class of people who are grossly foolish. And the others are the Naradhama. Nara means the human form and Adhama means who has fallen. So although he has the human-like form, but he has fallen from the human position because he thinks that there is no such need to know the spirituality or to practice spirituality. And we see 99.9% of the present human race will classify in this category. They pose themselves to be religious, but they do not perform any spiritual practice. And when we ask them, they say, oh, we do so much of puja. What is the puja? It's just to fulfill their material desires. So they are called Naradamas. And then the third category is Maya Aprithyana. Those who have knowledge, but the knowledge has been stolen by the illusionary energy. And fourth are very outwardly atheistic or demonic. They are Asuri Bhava. They attack that God does not exist or God is dead. So such foolish people, they never surrender to Krishna. They always try to avoid surrender to Krishna. On the other hand, there are four types of pious people or meritorious people who try to take shelter of Krishna. Who are these? They are the distressed, the inquisitive, and those who are seeking wealth, artharthi, and the fourth is the knowledgeable, the jnana. And amongst all these four, Krishna says that the one who is in knowledge of me, one who comes to me not out of any compulsion or any condition, like the three, Artho, Jigyasu, and Artharthi. They are all coming because of some condition. But the person in knowledge is out of duty. He is not forced to come because of any situation. He says, they are most dear to me. Priyo hi jnanino adhyartham. And he says that to come to the stage of jnani, where out of love or out of duty one approaches me, it may take many, many lifetimes. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanamam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. So the person who is in knowledge of which knowledge? The knowledge which Krishna is revealing in this section of the Bible. That Krishna is both the source and the origin of everyone and everything. So one who has received this knowledge. So what they do? They naturally surrender to Krishna. Jnanvan mam prapadyate. So it is imperative for us to study Bhagavad Gita. Because if we don't study Bhagavad Gita, then neither we will have the Aishwarya Gyan, nor we will have the Madhurya Gyan. So Krishna will not look attractive. Only Maya will look attractive. And we will be bewildered by Maya. And Vasudevam Sarvamiti. To be able to know how Krishna is the origin and source of everyone and everything. Such a person, Krishna says, is Mahatma. Sa Mahatma Durvima. And how one becomes Mahatma? By associating with the Mahatma. Then Krishna says that it is not possible for those who have material desires. Those whose intelligence is stolen by material desire, they do not surrender unto me. But where they surrender and they worship some demigods. That is the verse number 20. Less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual sense take shelter of the demigod for immediate fulfillment of material desires. They are in the lower modes. They are predominantly in the mode of Rajas and Tamas. And Krishna is very kind. He says, I am seated in everyone's heart as super soul. And as soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his fate steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. But actually, the result that one receives even from the demigod, the benefit that he receives is awarded by me, but indirect. But in actuality, the benefits are bestowed by me alone. Why Krishna does not give directly? Because Krishna does not want to give some temporary benefit. Krishna is our all-loving Father. He wants to give us only the eternal benefits. Why? Because all these benefits which are given by the demigod, they are antavanta. Their fruits are limited and temporary. And those who worship the demigod go to the planets of demigod. But my devotees ultimately reach to my supreme paradise. So if you buy a ticket for Nagpur, you will go to Nagpur. If you buy a ticket for Kanpur, you will go to Kanpur. Uh, you cannot go to Mumbai by buying a ticket to Kanpur. So if one worships the demigod and he thinks he is worshipping the Supreme Lord, he is in illusion. It is not so. And by worshipping the demigod, what he will get? He will get only the temporary and the material benefits. He cannot get the spiritual benefit. And then he speaks about another class of worshippers. Four kind of people do not surrender unto him. They are called Dushkritinas. And there is another class, those who are very much infatuated by material desire, they worship the demigods. But there is another class which is beyond both, beyond the Dushkritinas and beyond the demigod worshippers. Who are these? These are the impersonalists, who consider the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not have a spiritual form. They think that the impersonal form is the highest manifestation of the Supreme Lord. So those who are unintelligent being, Krishna says that thing that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was impersonal before. And due to the small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. And Krishna does not manifest to such foolish people, to such impersonalists. He says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samadhi. I am always covered by my internal potency. And therefore, they do not know me, who is unborn and infallible. So unless and until one performs devotional service, and devotional service on the process which Krishna is defining in Bhagavad, there is no possibility of anyone, either the impersonalist or the demigod worshippers, what to speak of the miscreants, to know Krishna at all. And in this chapter, Krishna is revealing himself. So Krishna tells Arjuna that I know everything which has happened in the past. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha Arjuna. Bhavishyani cha bhutani mamatu vedana kashtana. That I know what has happened in the past and I also know what is going to happen in the future. And of course, he knows the present. And why the living entities are so much in the existence of struggle, why they cannot know you, why they cannot perform direct worship of you. So Krishna gives the reason is ichcha dvesha samuthena. Dvanda mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham. That all living entities are born into delusion and bewildered by duality arisen from desire and hate, ichcha and dvesh. What is their ichcha? Is to enjoy the material energy. And when they do not fulfill their desire, what they have aversion. So they are always in illusion. They are always bewildered. So in such a bewildered stage, they are unable to know me. Then who can know you? What is the platform to know you? He reveals in the 28th verse. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmana te dvandamo nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrata. Very beautiful verse. That persons yesham tu antagatam papam. Those who have been freed from all sinful activities. Not only in this life, those who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life. And antagatam papam means their reaction of their sinful activity is also exhausted. Such people are dvanda moha vinirmuktaha. What the dvanda does, it creates moha. The duality creates illusion. So because they have piety and they have exhausted the sinful reaction, they have been purified. They are free from this illusion of dvanda And what they do, they perform bhajan. They worship me. How? Dridhavrata. With determination. They perform service. Determination means that the service is uninterrupted and it is unmotivated. So that is bhajan, which is Dridhavrata. Uninterrupted and unmotivated service. So that is the bhajan which these devotees perform. And Krishna is inviting all of us. And then in the last two verses, Krishna says that how they achieve the perfection. What kind of practice they have? Jara marana mokshaya mamashrita yatanti te brahmata vidu krishnam adhyatma karma chakhilam. So they are freed from the cycle of jara and maran, from the old age and death. They are liberated. Why? Because Mam Ashrita. They have already taken shelter of me. Having taken shelter of Krishna, what they do? Yatantiche. They are always endeavoring for what? Devotional service. And they are in knowledge. What is the knowledge that they have? They have the knowledge of Brahma, the spirit soul, which is indestructible. And what kind of activity they perform? Adhyatma karma. They don't perform any material karma. All their activities are transcendental. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. And in final verse he says, Sadi bhutam adi devam Sadi yagyam cha ye vidu Prayan kale api chama te vidur yukta chetasa. So they know me. What they know me? That sa adi bhutam. That I am the governing principle of what? Of the material manifestation. How do they know? We saw that. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhi revacha. They know me to be the governing principle of the entire material manifestation, as Krishna has explained. And they also know me as what? Adi Devam. It is Adhi Devam. Amongst all the demigod, Krishna is the director. He is the controller. He is the supreme authority. So they will not go to the demigods. They don't approach the demigods. They will approach the Supreme Lord. And they also know me Adhi Yagya. That I am the governing principle or the director of all the sacrifices. So naturally what they will perform? They will perform all sacrifices for my satisfaction. So such people, they can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. And where they will come? They will come to my planet. So in this way, in this very, very important chapter of knowledge of the Absolute, Krishna has given us what we should do, how we should spend our energy in utilizing this human form of life to achieve perfection. What is that perfection? To remember Krishna at the time of death. How? That he is Adhibhutam, he is Adhidevam, and he is Adhiyagya. That he is the governing principle. That means what? Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Sa Mahatma Sutubhava. So Prabhupada says that this 7th chapter explains how one can become fully Krishna conscious person. So he can see the creator in his creation. How Krishna pervades in this entire creation through his energies. And whenever we see his energy, we connect with the energetic. We remember him and we express our gratitude that we exist because of his maintenance. At every stage of life, we are completely dependent on this Supreme Lord, And the Supreme Lord is sustaining us through his multifarious energies. So that is the sum and substance of this 7th chapter. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. So I may invite, if you have any query or question, you may please ask. Although in this chapter, Arjuna is just hearing. But how he is hearing? He is hearing with his heart attached to Krishna. Maya Sakta Manapa. Hare Krishna. Is the flow clear? Is the message of this chapter clear to you? Priyanka?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah. So what is the message of this chapter?
Prabhuji, this chapter begins with Krishna says that to hear with through parampara system. The hearing is very much
Hearing is one of the
important.
most important aspect of our practice. Through hearing, Krishna is assuring that we can know him in full. Very good.
And you said that the 5 result of hearing.
Okay, that is good. What is the essential message of this chapter? Who would like to explain? Dayashil Bro?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
The essential message is in the last verse, Prabhuji, that by this chapter we can know the Lord to be the Adi Devam, Adi Bhutam, and Adi Yagyam. Yes, Prabhuji. Like he is the master or controller of the material manifestation, and also the director and control of the demigods, and also Prabhuji, Adi Yajna is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices, whatever is there. That is, he explained in detail these 3 principles throughout the 7th chapter, Prabhuji.
Okay, if I may ask, what is one verse which defines the entire chapter? What Krishna is desiring us to come to the level? What he is wanting from us? Yes, Ramya?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahat.
Yes, this is the point. This is the sum and substance of this chapter. This is the essence. Vasudevam Sarvam. That Krishna is the source and essence of everyone and everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karan Karana. That Krishna is Sarva Karan Karana. That is knowledge of the absolute. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention, and my best sincere prayers that Krishna awards you this benediction, that you realize that how Krishna is the essence of everyone and everything, and we dedicate our heart in worship of the Supreme Lord, and we perform activities for his pleasure. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, all glories to the assembled devotee. Hare Krishna. So next week we will not be there because we are traveling. We will be in Vrindavan on Sunday. So we will resume from next to next Sunday. We will come to the 8th chapter. So having received knowledge of the Supreme, we have the opportunity to attain this. That is the 8th chapter. That will be next to next Sunday. Next to next Sunday will be 9th. 9th, I think. It will be 9th. What your calendar is showing? Unmute and say.
It is 9th, correct.
Okay.
9th.
So we will resume our session from the 9th of August. Hare Krishna.